on here? So, today, there's a couple goals, and also, apparently my controller is being a complete janky piece of crap today. Not sure what that's about. Hopefully it won't become too much of an issue. But okay, let's adjust the volume real quick here, because I think it might be a little bit too loud. Oh yeah, no, that's going to be way too loud. Hang on, let's try putting it about there-ish. See if that's good. Hopefully so. Sorry about the loudness there. Realistically, I probably should turn it off and turn it back on again, but hopefully we'll be fine. So, a couple goals today, because first goal and kind of ultimate goal of all of this right now is just to get a hold of the flight boots. They kind of look more like ballet shoes with wings, but whatever, we'll call them flight boots. Anywho, technically speaking, I could have gotten them by over-leveling and going to a fight on Wibri on this particular route. So, right now, the shortest ways to actually get to those things, we can either go through Heim and Hanging Gardens, that's going to take us a while, or, optionally, we can try to go to level 9 of POTD. Now, I don't know if we can actually do that yet. Thing is, POTD will pretty much scale to you wherever you kind of are at any given point. There's only a few story fights that'll end up being unusually low level. So, basically, the position that we're in right now is kind of a weird one. Because while we do have access to both types of classes there, generally speaking, you want to have a ton of immunities going into that fight. So I think if we're just going to level 9, I think we might be able to pull off some cheese and maybe make it happen. Just going to go ahead and see what I can sell real quick, see if we can make something work there. I'm actually kind of tempted to try going in with the blow dart gun, to be honest. So that might not necessarily be a terrible idea. I just need as many healing items as I can get together here. Let's see here. How are we doing on salves? We got 3. On mending leaves, we got those. If we get, I think, 40 of them, I would assume would be enough. Holy water, we got 8. That's not fantastic for that particular goal, but if we're just trying to get to 9, worst case scenario, I can swap over to WK and hope that it's good. In which case, I'd need more of these. Because, I mean, one more holy water won't really make that much of a difference, considering almost every single thing's a zombie in there. So we're going to go ahead and go that way. See, it's kind of a weird thing when it comes to this stuff. So, technically speaking, there's a couple other places that we could have gotten it. If we were on, I believe if we're on Law, there would be a fight in Goliath where we fight Zapan again. And if you're on, I think it's like level 33 or higher, a couple of his units can drop the wing boots. But for now, we're just going up here. Optionally, I also want to go and get the crafting books, but I'd prefer to start with these boots. The reason being that they're a very, very, very handy tool when it comes to not dying in the random temples there. And I just figure if it's 9 floors, it's not even 9 floors, it's like 5 fights in reality. So we're going to just go through this one. Hopefully we'll be good. The Portigon fins and all that. This one's just a monster map. They don't really have much going on. Just the usual sit and hold and hope for the best kind of situation. Surprisingly difficult in vanilla, actually. More so than I would have expected. But yeah. You know, considering how long it's been that I haven't finished the actual commentary on that yet, kind of wondering if I should just go and start from scratch. Probably not. I'd really prefer not to. There's so many accidental recordings that I've started over the course of this that it's going to be like a half-day project to friggin' dig all that crap up. Yeah, sorry, it's, we had a snow day, so it's really, really dry out. Even with a humidifier running on full blast here, it's like, it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. Stuff's vaporizing the friggin' gallon of water into the air every hour. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in the least. Alright. So what are we dealing with here? We got Berserker. He'll probably kill himself off. Hoplite. That's a bit more of a threat. Don't know why I'm checking the Water Dragon. Water Dragon's a Water Dragon. Juggernaut could be annoying if it's got a bind ability on him. I think we'll go for the Hoplite first. Yeah, and then we'll get our dodge turned on. Normally speaking, for this one, it's better to just hold back, but I wanna see how our first scouting run here goes. And sorry if you hear the occasional doo-doo kind of thing. It's just, yeah, my controller is really jacked up for some reason. I don't know what my son did to it yesterday, because I just saw him running around with it, and today it didn't even want to plug in properly, so I just kind of crammed that thing in there. So there's a very real possibility I'm just going to have to do this with keyboard moving forward, but we'll see. Or just transfer the save file over to a Vita, and then we'll do it straight off of a Vita. That's not a terrible idea whatsoever. Actually, it's not even the worst idea in the world. It would be, I suppose it would give a lot more legitness to the run. It's just that it would be kind of occasionally janky. Ah, shame that guy ran away. Oh well. Just keep doing that, Halo, buddy. You're doing so good. We believe in you. Alright, good. Good. So far, so awesome. Actually, these guys are only at 20, so they're not scaling up properly. So let's just go ahead and disable a lot of them then. It's deciding to be weirdly merciful. They don't really have any healing moves or anything, so you know, we're pretty much alright here. Seems I'm taking more damage from their counter damage than anything else. But yeah, this one's pretty simple. They just kind of bum rush you. The reason that it was so much of a danger in vanilla is because these guys had really high stats compared to their level for some reason. Couldn't tell you why, because I think I came in with like a 15 level advantage or something like that, and still the dragons were able to get through defense like nothing. Though again, it was those weird threshold situations you saw in vanilla every now and then. But yeah, so basically what we're going for here, there's one particular archer in Palace of the Dead on level 9, and then once we get that guy, we're pretty much good to go. I just want to sleep these two. Honestly, I kind of might as well just attack. It's not like I really have anything that scales, but it'll be a little bit faster for the next turn. Nothing too spectacular. Yeah, that guy did more damage with that secondary effect than anyone's done with their actual hit so far. He took 120 off max health with that. Oh, good morning! Alrighty, and I'm back. So, let's go ahead and probably admin sign here again. Disable all these bunch of them. It's actually funny how it, technically speaking, seems to target yourself as well. Ooh, rank up, you say? What did we just rank up? Ooh, Ogre at 4. Okay, now we're up to 20% extra damage off that. Not anything to complain about for sure. Alright, that's a decent amount of stuff to sell. Alright, controller, come on now. What is wrong with this thing? There we go. I think I got out whatever was in there, hopefully. Now, this thing was already a bit too janky to be trying to do Armored Core stuff for the most part, I thought. So, hopefully... yeah, hopefully it isn't completely busted. Alright. So far, so good here. Especially if they're all going to just finish themselves off. Love how I'm doing double the damage to myself here. Rude. Stole my sack. Don't just come up and grab a man's sack, dude. What the hell? Easy peasy. Yeah, I think we can get out of this without even using a healing item. Alright, what did you drop? Hierophant? I believe that's Mind? Yeah. Mind's pretty handy. So these story fights that that scale only up to a certain degree, those are definitely definitely the cream of the crop when it comes to just comes to free card resources and things like that. Because in a lot of cases, I believe if you're a higher level, they're more likely to drop cards and less likely to drop items. I could be completely wrong on that. It's probably just 50-50. I mean, I've been told repeatedly it's 50-50, but God, it always feels like at different points of the game you get different amounts of drops. And a lot of folks bring that up, and it's like, I mean, technically I agree it feels that way, but mechanically it's not, I guess. Mostly what it boils down to is just every character has only a certain amount of items that they'll drop. So, like, for example, the golem that had that teleportation ring only had the one drop. Usually, like, that is unusually non-douchey for the game. Because in most cases, they'll just have a situation where they'll have, like, 5 other drops and then one super rare thing. Like, when it comes to the crafting books, they've got a full complement of normal drops and then the rare, and then that book. Except as the game progresses, they get less drops in that drop pool. So the idea is that you're supposed to get more items as the game goes on, and you get more stats earlier on, and it's especially weird if you think about it that way, because then, like, whenever you're getting characters later in the game, there's no reason to ever recruit anybody from the store, because they'll always be objectively worse than whoever you can find out in the wild, so to speak. But unfortunately you can't rename those ones, so yeah. Hi there, Gamma. Good morning. How's it going? So yeah, we're just taking a quick little story fight here. Getting some extra stats, getting some extra loots, all that kind of thing. Basically trying to get the ability to fly, because teleportation's nice, but it doesn't quite ignore the types of things that I want it to. Because flight is better than teleportation. Who'da thunk it? Can we just swallowtail this guy? No, we can just one-shot this guy. I believe there's nothing they should be able to do that can finish me off here. Let me double check real quick before getting close. Let's get a Matriarch with Crystallize, Dead Anchor, Dead Anchor. Okay, the bows probably won't do much. Matriarch's right there, so I don't want to get too close. Yeah, I'm gonna go for this one, go for the Archer. Probably gonna take a heal, and then we'll go from there. Just finished lunch and doing fine. Got my plush of a Dragon Quest slime. It's small and cute. Well, yeah, them things are adorable looking. It's kind of funny, because they're supposed to be all monstrous and evil and murderous and everything. How can they murder while cute? Someone asks while koalas exist. Alright, Nightblade. Right, so Nightblade you. I'm still gonna see if I can maybe get out of this without wasting a healing item. Because even their Tremenduses should only do 1 damage. Yeah, there we go. So you made a sort of speedrun on AC1, but I think I finished over 2 hours using no save. Nice. Isn't the speedrun like an hour? I think it was like an hour 23 or something, wasn't it? It's been a while since I looked at those. All right, let's see here. Sorry if the noise goes weird for a second here, or if this is super loud. Let's see what happens with this out of bounds here. Alright, let's see what comes up here. Oh, not playing in first-person mode? God, what is this rookie stuff? How are we getting glitched out of bounds here? Okay, how does that work? Playing in first person a little? I don't know. You know what? As much as they're absolutely fantastic for causing vertigo, I really like the first-person mode in the AC games. I didn't mean to finish watching. I thought I did. I thought it was the out of bounds that was happening. Hold on. Okay, we're going back to the thing. Give it a sec. Got back to that part, avoided getting killed by 9-ball. Hang on. Alright, so you blow up MT. Glitch out of bounds, presumably. Well, there shouldn't be an explosion hitbox, should there? Or does the explosion effect, like, override the fact that the ground exists or something? Oh, and there's the NB core. Yeah, that's just the core, ain't it? Just skip all the way to the end. Let's do Ikazuchi here, because I never get showed off. It's a TP reset. Not really mind-blowing or anything, but just handy to have. Yeah, I don't know. There's some crazy stuff you learn while doing speedruns. Like, there was this one that I was watching for March of the Black Queen there that was just blowing my mind with how ridiculously specific some of that stuff was. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we gotta get this one character's intelligence, like, exactly 45 or some crap, so that this boss only uses this one move, and then we have this other unit over here that, due to some shenanigans in the background, is able to guaranteed stun all these other guys. Like, what the hell? But you just make them run into each other. That's how the game works. And then you tell them to target leader, and then they do. So you didn't like abort % speedrun, so I'll have to look what missions to run. Yeah, I agreed on that one. Honestly, it sucks that AC has that abort option, and I'm wondering if that's why they removed that option in later games there, because yeah, it's real crappy to watch a speedrun where it's like, oh yeah, go into mission, abort, go into mission, abort, go into mission, abort. Like, you're not speedrun, you're not playing the game, dang it, you're just dying over and over. But yeah. This will probably go horribly, but let's go take a look. Actually, when I was originally routing this, the plan was more or less to make use of the worm scale having innate stun resist, so we could basically replace the accessory at this point. But yeah, abort % is like 23 minutes. Yeah, because they don't play any of the game. Just like, hi, I turned on the game and I played the last mission and we're done here. Alright, so we got Falfide here. Hang on, my controller's being all jank again. Come on, controller. 21. Okay, you know what? Actually, this is doable. So, Falfide only scales up to 21, for the time being anyway. So each of them will have some different spot that they scale up to. Oh, come on, controller, no! Alright, there it is. Sorry, my controller is completely crapping out on me. Yeah, I might have to actually postpone that whole doing silent line thing because, like, I don't know what's wrong with the connection on this thing. I might tape it together at some weird angle and hope that does it, but we'll see. Alright, so we'll go ahead and make some use of warp here. All I gotta do is... well, I mean, hopefully I can just plink off most of this stuff. Got a really techy setup, but debuffs can still wreck my butt real good. See, the no abort, no fail is 54 minutes? Yeah, I could have sworn that was an hour 23, dang, that's still pretty dang fast. I mean, it's just AC in general is one of those ones that there's so like whenever somebody's playing well, it just looks so good. I mean, hell, speedruns of AC3. I've done a couple speedruns of AC3 and got pretty close to world record before, but man, it's so much fun just to watch. Just because the route makes use of the hover legs and makes use of the hover trick, and you basically just using machine guns and napalm most of the time. It just looks amazing. You're just this blazing fireball annihilating everything along the way. But yeah, I had a slightly different route when doing that one, which kind of created a situation where I think it's possible to I think it's possible to get to beat the world record time on there. And I was telling Cal about it because he's a lot better at it than I am. But if you use the howitzer right, like if you learn to make use... Okay, so I should explain a little bit. When I was doing the howitzer only run, was noticing a lot of cases where you could do pretty much impossible snipes making use of the arc on the howitzers. So I started incorporating that somewhat into the speedrun, and theoretically it should be possible to save, you know, possibly even a minute or two, I would think. Just making use of awkward snipes off that thing. Not to mention, I think the current speedrun route probably doesn't take the shortest route through all the missions, because I don't know if they necessarily... Like, I believe most of the folks that are doing speedruns there right now might be speedrunners first, AC players second. I could be wrong on that, but it seemed like many of them had records on many other things, so I think it's possible for anyone that's looking into that sort of thing. See, today was playing well, used my own setup, but the boost and flight felt really fun. Using a generator 1000 and boost 52, that was so much fun. People saying these games are slow. They're not slow in the least. Also, I really over-prepared for this fight here. I never realized the teleportation and the tank setup is completely wrecking butts. We're just going to go ahead and speed it up real quick. And Gravity Flux does 110 because it's block percentage damage. Tear is the move that completely wrecked me last time. Or just Draconics in general, really. Alright, got Charmed. Got Uncharmed. I mean, I'm slower than slow, but look at this. They had completely free reign to do whatever the hell they want, and they couldn't do anything. I'm just going to run around one-shotting everything, I guess. Even if we got to speed this up a little bit. Like, the only thing that can do damage is Draconics, and that's only doing 18. Got hit by Bewitch. That has a really decent chance to just run out. So yeah, Bewitch is like, I believe, negative 2 to 3 turns. So I'd say probably about 60... or it's probably only got about 60% chance to actually last. But then if it does, there's not really much anyone can do about it. Right, we should be able to Nightblade these two. At least one goes down. Everyone knows the best speedrun game is Formula Front. You know what? Come to think of it, is there a speedrun for Formula Front? I don't think anyone's actually done that yet. There's a free record just sitting there. You just make a meta tank. Just make an LX tank and just curb stomp the entire thing. There's pretty much nothing most of the game can do against it. Also have Sekiro. Oh wait, you have a record for Sekiro? Alright, speedrun Formula Front is about 40 minutes. I'm sure that can get down. We're just going to heal a little bit for safety here. Mostly because I need to use finishers for most of the rest. Oh, I have the game Sekiro? Yeah, Sekiro is awesome. It's one of those ones that I've never... Well, I think I played personally for a few minutes because I had a cousin that had it, but never actually owned it. But God, I've watched so many speedruns of that thing. It's amazing to watch. Just gonna go ahead and swallowtail this one. Love that move. And I think from here we're probably just gonna go around trying to collect stuff. before they claim it all. From a Japanese guy, PSP, 38 minutes. See, here's the thing. Technically speaking, playing it on PSP... Well, actually, oh, wait. Dang it, I was going to say playing it on Vita would be playing it on original hardware, but it can't technically play on the Vita, so... Ain't that a disappointment? Which is dumb, because all they had to do was re-release it. Would have 100% rebought it on the Vita, but no, they're like, no, you can have all these other third-gen games, but we can't ever re-release Formula Front. So the only way to actually get it is through emulation. Not to mention, there's not even a legit way to get the international version. Which is the one that you actually want to be playing anyway, so, meh. There we go, lowered it a little bit. And I'll turn off speed off in a little bit. It's just that this fight's pretty, you know, like it is right now. Can I request you to play a game? Sure. I mean, right now there's a little bit of a backlog, but I don't see why not. The current backlog is... We're finishing off this one. Then I needed to finish the about 80% done Cerebro Monster Run. So that's for like the tactical or strategy RPG slot. For the XCOM-like slot, there's actually, I don't need a full card right now. For the XCOM game slot, that's being followed up by X Division's pretty close to being done. I would say also about 80%. That's getting followed up by Xenonauts 2, which is then getting followed up by Long War of the Chosen. And then for the third one, the Mana slot, that's... I don't know how... Apparently that game's pretty short, but we've been at it for a while, because I've apparently gotten completely and utterly lost. But that will eventually... now, whenever that one ends, the plan was to do Silent Line or something. And then after that, probably do Legend of Evermore, or Secret of Evermore. See, either Saturn or PS1, a cool horizontal shmup I got into, has mechs and nice music with awesome gameplay. Thunder Force? Oh yeah, I've played Thunder Force. That game's awesome. I've only played a little bit. I played the... I think it... Wasn't there one on the Genesis? Because I vaguely... Yeah, I'm fairly certain the one I played was on the Genesis. Maybe not Thunder Force 5, but one of the Thunder Force games, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, I'm not sure what the full cards do, but we get some loyalties, so that's nice. And yeah, we'll be off speed up pretty soon here. Just want to finish this up. Just noticed that that was a really dumb move. I should have gone for the Warlock. This Priest is running a tank set. Genesis at 3 and 4. Okay, yeah, I think it was Thunder Force 4 that I'm thinking of. Thunder Force. Alright, I really need that strengthened back. Almost. Currently, I'm feeling like Curse lasts way too long for what it does. Now, that could just be because I don't like being affected by it, of course, but I feel like Curse must last like 5 turns or something. Actually, no, I just recently got recursed, that's what it was. Rude. Alright, so what we need is to get rid of these priesty sorts. What I need is for my dang controller to stop disconnecting on me here. Come on, you janky old dick. Alright, well, if we can't do what I want to do, let's go ahead and drop a breach on this one. See if we can't potentially just one-shot him. Rude. God, this little mosquito's annoying. Although I apparently found a meteorite just hanging out in this underground dungeon. That makes sense. Can I have a turn now? You can see why this might have been slightly impossible without cheesing the game. Alright, so first order of business, I'm actually gonna try to get rid of the gremlin, so that he stops making my turns disappear. And then we want to take care of the lady priest, which should allow for overwhelming the dude priest. Yeah, that guy just took himself out. Let's see, my DualShock 4 disconnected when I was playing AC3 and PSP 2 days ago. Didn't want to reconnect and it didn't work for a whole day. Yeah, we've got a spare PS4 controller and I might end up using that. I'd prefer not to though. I really like the old DualShock 3s. Alright, so I'm gonna put out another debuff here just so that they have something else to worry about. I can't burn through all these items because there's a second story fight. Most of the rest of them I can cheese pretty well. So thankfully they saw the priority somewhere else here. Okay. 178, so about... No, that would be enough. Alright, I might as well take him out then. Because he's the tougher cookie between the two. It's just that I haven't been able to hold on to a strength for more than a turn up to this point. Alright. So far, so okay. Definitely need to heal, though. Alright. Gonna cosplay an AC3 at that time. Want to take a look? Was cosplaying a mech from yet another shmup. Why not? Yeah, don't like using this many mending seeds this early, but I will. Fight after this should be relatively simple. We just gotta slap stuff off a cliff for the most part. And then yeah, that's gonna be the fight with, what's-his-face? Friggin' Rashidi or whatever. Or at least the reincarnation of him. And we'll go ahead and use our other warp charge here. Yeah, the warp ring, I don't know, I feel like you could use 4 charges or something. It feels weird that for all that it only gets 2 warp charges, especially when that stuff can just be dispelled instantly. There we go, there's nothing they can do to win now. Even with Rupture, they're barely doing anything. Right. Hopefully I should be able to survive if they've got a 3 in the back there. I just got a standard orb. No, I'm gonna leave Vigorous Attack for the moment. And then we should be able just to finish him off with this. Yep, there we go. Done deal. Didn't want to risk them missing it somehow. Never make it to the depths. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a hell of a trek, but I think we'll eventually make it there. There we go, we'll turn all that off, get up to 32. I believe we're 1 level away from accidentally scaling up the fights here. Alright. So we can bail at any point, but basically we got this one, this one. This is the one that's really rough. Like, that's the one that you really want a warp or flight or something. Because you gotta make it over to a door, you gotta unlock the door, and then you basically just gotta blitz over to the leader there, and even in vanilla with how crazy OP you could get, it was a challenge to pull that off. So we'll see how we do here. Let's see, Rolling Gunner's Penetrator. See, I can never see Penetrator without thinking the Penetrator from Demon Souls. I'll be honest, no clue what I'm looking at here. Oh dang, that's actually really close. No kidding. Huh. Alrighty. Yeah, hang on, wasn't... No, the Mayfly came in later games. I was gonna say, you could do this perfectly with a Mayfly. It's got that little horn and everything. Other than that, man, that's friggin' spot on right there. Good stuff. Hi there, had to take a nap in a few minutes, but figured I'd say hi. How goes the Ogres and Tactics and the Visions? Well, so far so goings, and yeah, it sounded like you got a hell of a lot of writing done yesterday. But yeah, so far so alright. We got into the Palace of the Dead, so that's a start for sure. Got Og 4 here. About to go do another one here. So yeah, this is the one that realistically we can probably get away with only using half the Holy Waters. Mostly what I'm testing here is if I can get away with just using a shield for now. Because if you can... the zombie dragons are pretty slow. But yeah. I don't like to feel this place filled with zombies and swamps and horrible poison gas everywhere and just terribleness in every direction, you don't say. And there we go. Guy that's one of the main bad guys from the other Ogre games just is sort of here. Except... I still don't know where it's implied that that's actually him. I've yet to hear anybody actually tell me why. Why he's supposed to be Rashidi or whatever. Like, apparently there's some, like, his death dialogue or something was saying that he was a reincarnation or something along those lines. Either way, we don't need to save him for anything. He comes in with a fancy dagger, but we don't really need one. He definitely comes in with better equipment than he does normally, because he always just has the boulder dagger, and that's it. But yeah. Terranite here in Boulder. What I'm looking for here is power armor. And nobody's packing that. What about Steadfast? Anybody run Steadfast here? Neil the Terranite, which is that one right there. Okay, so he has to be exercised. We'll go ahead and use the juices here. Realistically, I'm probably just going to end up using the White Knight for the rest of it. Because this is probably going to be the last easy fight we can take. Just going to shield bash everybody else off a cliff. I think he's just one of Rashidi's acolytes, isn't he? Reincarnated after his death in March of the Black Queen? I guess. Truth be told, I don't know, I've been through this game probably over 100 times now, and I have no idea. People tell me that, the wiki says it, I have no clue where it actually says it. And my controller's being all janky again. But yeah. I mean, one way or another, he's super dead anyway, so oh well. There ain't much we can do to save him. Apparently, in later versions, he's gonna be following suit with the other characters and getting a bit more in the way of survivability. But for the time being, he's a little bit of a pushover, and we don't need him anyway. It says it because I'm a big fan of Big Theory on the internet. Okay. Or wait. It says it because I'm a big fan that make Big Theory on the internet. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm just going to open the AC Wiki. You know what? I'm still amazed that the AC Wiki isn't represented by Kangaki. Like, how do you do better than that? How do you get an AC better than a guy that runs a giant mech with a hamster wheel? Oh, the stuff you never understood? Yeah, you ever, I'm curious, did we ever have the discussion about AC4? Like, I know that I've seen several people now that have the exact same experience I did, where they're like, oh, you know, let me go figure out what this game was actually about, because they get to the last mission, they're like, oh, I mean, there's a boss, but I don't, who is he? Who is this a-hole? Like, what are we doing here exactly? And then yeah, only come to realize later that, well, apparently there was this whole plot going on in the background the whole time, and the game just never bothers to tell you, and yeah. Have some stuff I want to correct in the wiki. Yeah, honestly, when I was reading through the AC4 wiki, I remember distinctly, like, I can remember that exact day in my head right now, that I was just sitting there in a hotel, was on a business trip at the time, and I was like, oh man, you know, let me go figure out what that game was, because I literally just finished the game and went on a trip and was so confused. I remember just friggin' sitting on the plane, like, what the hell just happened? Did the game end? Did I just do something wrong? Is everything in hard mode or something? Oh, is that the guy with Steadfast? Dang it. That's the guy with Steadfast. Okay, whatever. Whatever. But then, yeah. Hi there, Evan. Good morning. Let's see, like Wildcats talking rather than the Raven talking, that they got wrong because the first game was transformed by monkeys. Yeah. True there. There's a lot of interesting mistranslations going on there. Like, wasn't that something along the lines of it just said Raven instead of Wildcat or something? In which case it could still technically be them, but you just don't know their name or something? I don't remember off the top of my head. It's like AC1's one of those ones that like, it's always just a series of occurrences more than an actual plot in my head. See, in Master of Arena, they said Annihilator has a laser sword called the 3003, when in their screenshot it was corrected that he was using the LS-3303, which was actually in the game. Yeah. I mean, they also said that that Nineball wasn't an AI, but he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, which constantly made me... Actually, he didn't look like Schwarzenegger as much as he looked like Crack Stuntman. But, if anyone here happens to be a Homestar fan, just look up a picture of Crack Stuntman. You'll see exactly what I mean. He's actually one of those characters that's so bizarre I had to add him to the Long War of the Chosen run. They get so many things wrong. Oh yeah, I mean that's the entire series though. They get so much stuff wrong. Alright, this one's running Steadfast also. Well, I guess we'll just continue smacking stuff then. I have zero idea how Swallowtail ends up scaling up that way, but okay. Whatever works. I mean, I think my favorite one, as far as weird just weird mist stuff in the AC series, there's this one moment in Silent Line, the second time that you're defending the solar power plant. Like, assuming you did both of them, I think it was Danger Popcorn or whatever it's called. But yeah. That moment where they're like, oh man, it's Long Spear. Like, who the hell's Long Spear? It's like, oh, he's from the arena. No, he isn't. He's not in the arena in any game, and he's clearly supposed to be what's his face? I think Shatter. It's like he basically looks like he could be the third brother between Shatter and Zero. Some of the games are fun to think about by oneself rather than making people angry with their thoughts. Yeah, that's true. It's very true. There's a lot of community division on that one. Alright, come on, controller. I believe in you. Don't make me use the keyboard, please. Alright, where's my dang electrical tape? I know it's in here somewhere. Get this crap fixed. I know I left you here. Right, whatever, we'll try to use it this way. See if... Nope, come on, get in the hole. There we go. I think. Hopefully. Right, let's go ahead and use that warp ring. Redlum in the PS1 version, they forgot his permadeath line, so supposedly it says he's Albello in the Japanese one. Oh! Okay, that makes more sense. Gotcha. They retconned the Albello thing in the PSP version? If you get a chance to murder him, let us know. He has to lose his third heart in the PSP version. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha. Because isn't it something, like, I know I did that on accident before, and I think he says something like, I'll be back again or something. Although I think I didn't think of it much at the time, because Was playing a lot of Neko's story, and there's a whole lot of lines of like, "Oh yeah, you haven't seen the last of me," as they perma-die. But yeah, I think it was pretty alright, by the way. If anyone's been keeping up with it, that's actually pretty. It's getting better still. It's Terminator says I'll be back. Maybe. Maybe it's also a plate of baby back ribs. Who knows? But yeah, I can probably. That's actually pretty easy to test. Remind me to test it before this is done, because I have him on several other save files, so I can actually just. I can probably just go ahead and friggin' feed him some Death March or something, since it's a much faster process than the mod. Mecha Story 2, The Fight Through Hell. That's, you know what, honestly, that's kind of Chapter 2 at this point. Like, where it's just 50 billion things that you're completely unfamiliar with in an area that looks kind of like a hellscape. Honestly, like, I think once it's done, that game's gonna be amazing. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in there already. I mean, a lot of the settings, a lot of the mechanics and stuff like that, it's better than I expected going into the thing years ago. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my first impression of it, and like, I was like, oh man, look, somebody you know, wants me to show off their thing. You know, maybe this is an opportunity. And then I look at it, and I'm like, oh no, the art style. But it, like, over time, after learning the mechanics and after trying it and everything else, it was like, okay, you know what, this is interesting. Because I was seriously worried the first time that I looked at it, but I wish that there was some way to turn off Rampart Aura or Steadfast or whatever, or actually just Steadfast once they fell down. Like, I feel like it should shut off all their skills. So you have no memories of the Dragon's Heaven map from March of the Black Queen that supposedly has Rudlam resurrecting post-campaign in it? That's when you enter the Firecrest as your name? I have no idea. That sounds awesome, though. I'd love to do a lot of that side questy stuff in March of the Black Queen. I would absolutely love to just go through with just a list of all the cool crap you can do. Because truth be told, most of my runs I start going through and then I start running into a few of the difficult mid-game fights. And then starts the reputation slide, and, you know, that's how it goes. It's a cheat map. Yay for cheat maps! I think it's Fire Seal. Because I don't think they called it the Fire Crest yet, because it was supposed to be a reference to the to Fire Emblem, and then I think they had issues for calling it the Seal or something. I don't remember right now, but it was something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and move here. See if we can get some of this pushy type situation done. Just kind of hoping we just crit him off the cliff there. But yeah, if you're ever low on exorcism items, this is the way to go. I'm gonna have to go to White Knight after this so that I can get free exorcisms, but it's just if you ever had issues with that, there you go. Just look for cliffs. Many of these do spawn with Steadfast though, but instant exorcism, who knew? See, the priest from The Exorcist had it all wrong. He just needed to push her off a cliff the entire time. Let's see, if I stream March of the Black Queen with hopes stuck in my throat. I'm pretty fresh to the series. Yeah, sure. I mean, it depends on the time. Most of the time that I'm around, it's completely random. It's like during the morning, it's usually relatively easy because I wake up, I get the kids' food ready, I get my wife's food ready. You know, she goes to work, I watch the kids during that time, do some early, like, preliminary research for my calls later in the day, put that aside, do a stream thing while watching the kiddos, and they're just sitting here playing most of the time. And then we do the stream thing, then after that I go and I do my calls for the day, so it's basically my main day job there. Then after that I gotta... Yeah, I can double shot this guy. Okay. Then after that, end up... sometimes I'm off later, kind of like after 8 o'clock. But then usually I'm working for my second job from like 4 to 8 or 9. And or doing other stuff during that time, so it varies. It's also random, but I've gotten used to being up in the morning, so earlier than your stream is now. Let's say 4 hours ago. Okay, I will definitely be asleep at that time, unfortunately. With everything else that goes on, if I don't get enough sleep, bad things tend to happen. Slowing down is unacceptable. Can go for 5 hours or less. Like, I would definitely try. If you, let's see, if you were doing, let's see, 4 hours ago, so 2 a.m. Then I could set myself an alarm, wake up and watch some. But would definitely, would more than likely be re-watching the videos if you're making videos of them. I don't know if you plan to do the whole just transferring everything to YouTube thing. Stream in the afternoon, right now is almost 3 p.m. Oh! Oh, okay, you got completely different hours on your end, I forgot about that. Right, this guy running steadfast. Easiest way to check, just smack him with a shield. But yeah, like, if it's during, at 11 o'clock or whatever time, I can probably have the stream playing in one ear and do calls in the other. But yeah, I would absolutely watch that. Like, honestly, though, don't look at any guides going into it. Just go into it completely blind. My first experience with March of the Black Queen was going into it with just fairies. Like, it was a fairy-only run. I'd never experienced any part of the game before. I'd heard some, you know, some stories here and there, but never really got to experience the thing. Just go into it blind. Don't try to metagame it. Like, you just gotta experience it, man. It's... That's the interesting part about the Ogre series in general, though. It's not... It feels difficult. Once you figure out the cheese, it's not that difficult. But it's so good for challenge runs. Oh, man. There's just so many cool mechanics, and a lot of the time, yeah, in the base game versions, there's usually stuff to cheese you through the game. Just like FFT and everything else Mitsuno's ever touched, and honestly, it varies per game. Like, in MOTBQ, I won't really spoil it, but there's random items that you can get to make certain classes. Word of Fame feels like a Christian metal band name. It totally should be. Oh man, it probably is too. But yeah. So yeah, there's certain classes that you can get based off certain random items you can find, because every run is entirely different, right? So March of the Black Queen was unique in that your entire run is basically seeded at the time that you start your game. And so you're going to have every single rare and whatever else item. It might be in a city, it might be laying around on a map. It's just randomized every time. And so, so yeah, you get to some pretty fascinating stuff with that. Like, I think I found it hilarious that in my first run, about 2 levels in, I found the dang Ogre Blade sitting in the basement of a church. Like, yeah, okay, what's the church hiding here? But yeah, there's so much cool stuff you can do. But yeah, the randomness of it, it's really something else. Is he blind? All right then, not good with not using guides. But if I get stuck and need some tips, well, you got Mr. Vale here. No, I mean if he's around. But yeah. As far as tips go, I'll try to be there and try to give some tips. Like, there's March of the Black Queen's one of those ones that it's weird to give tips on because, well, in a lot of cases, those tips may not necessarily apply. Like, without any spoilers, because you probably won't know how to make this in the first place, the usual joke is, oh yeah, you get a princess or a lich, and you can just break the game. And it's like, okay. How do you get them, though? Like, just take a random guess. How would you make a princess or a lich? So you pulled a Dream Tiara and the Moonstone, Were Tiger items off stage 3. Well, there you go. You get Were Tigers, too. Although, bear in mind that it's funny because the princess item is renamed in every version. So it also depends on which version you're going to play. I don't know why, but that and a few other items just get renamed every time. It's kind of weird like that. Is that the Triforce from Zelda on the wall? Not exactly. In this one, it's the symbol for evil, basically. Or it's the symbol for Bane. It's just the dark emblem, more or less. So you can see every time they're casting, like, Hellhound or something like that, they're throwing one up in the air. Except for Word of Pain. For some reason, WAP doesn't use one. Not sure why. But it's like a whole series thing that whenever you have certain elements, they always throw the sign for it up in the air before they actually do it. Kind of like a Witcher thing, I guess. Evil! Exactly. And then you got their emblems slapped on top of a staff for their elemental staff, which got renamed after cities in March of the Black Queen for the mod, interestingly enough. Like the ice one... I forget the exact name of the ice one off the top of my head right now, but it was renamed after that one ice town, where you got like a beach on one side and then ice and snow on the rest of it from MOTBQ. Just kind of a random little that's neat kind of moment. Always termite. Oh yeah. I'm excited to play MOTBQ. I spelled it right. But yeah, it's so good. It's such a weird game, man. It's so good. And yes, I'm over here scratching my arm like a dang crack fan. Like, hey, you got any more of that ogre battle? It's so good though. Like, it just legit blew my friggin' mind going through it for the first time. And you'll notice they've kept the same music throughout the entire series. Like, this theme, this plays on it. Pretty much every piece of music from this game plays in March of the Black Queen somewhere. It's fascinating how well they've just kept the same music going. And oftentimes underappreciated, I feel. Because the original versions are astounding! Okay, so I think we have 3 holy waters left. That might be enough to actually get through this next fight. See, this is the reason that I was using the warrior for this first bit. The rest of them we can find some ways to cheese, and we can use the white knight for. But I needed to make use of his level 32 here. Because this one shouldn't scale up either. I mean, yeah, like Evan's saying, you got some crazy stuff there, like the fact that you can destroy castle walls with termites. They're stone walls, why are termites doing it? Oh well. Alright, come on, controller. There we go. I'm sorry for all the beep, 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 beep kind of nonsense. And unfortunately, Denim here is a little bit of a numbnuts because he just goes and throws himself into the very front of the fight. I'm hoping that can be fixed at some point in the future. But yeah, if you just win this fight, you just get kicked out. And I might actually have to go back and use a different setup here. But what I need to do is go here, go as fast as I can, then set up warp. Again, I might have to go back here with a rogue. But I set up warp, then warp up to that tile up top there, which looks suspiciously like a door. No, I don't know how anyone was meant to figure that out, but whatever. You open up the door, and then you get access to the other 112 floors of the Palace of the Dead. No, that isn't a misnaming. That is actually there's actually 112, well, 115 frickin' floors in this stupid thing. Thankfully, we only have to go to about 40 of them, but still. The fact that you can't use the shortcuts on the way back because they needed 2 one-line friggin' like cutscenes is just, it's just some dickery for sure. Remember, follow me though. I've got friends that ask me to stream. Don't forget to even follow. Send me the link if you could. Actually, hang on, don't send it yet. Actually, could you send it on Discord? If you could send it on Discord, that would definitely be best. Because I don't have Steam up on my other computer here, and it's gonna X out of some stuff if I do. Or not Steam, but I was thinking stream, but anyway, no. Twitch. There we go. Wait, don't I have you added as a friend on Discord? I mean, that one works. I'm always on the Tactics Ogre one if you want to find me on there. I could have sworn I had you added as a friend on there, though. Unless there's somebody with a really similar name that I've been really confused about for a long time here. That's definitely a possibility. Also, we're going to warp here to try to avoid the poison. Since when is that command a thing? It's always been a thing. There's also exclamation mark 1992 if you want to hear Apocalypse 1992. There's also exclamation mark HS if you want to go by Mecha Story. There's exclamation mark Guide if you want the Tactics Ogre 1 Vision Guide. Which, by the way, actually, there's this item guide here that this guy has. I'm gonna have to go temporarily post that into post a link to that in my guide because this guy's guide is really, really good. See, then I was tired and figured it'd be funny when it didn't do anything. Well, it did. I expected this day 2 years ago. Apparently. So you didn't really want to join a community? I can send you a request and then get out of there? Yeah, go for it. I mean, honestly, the SRPG community is pretty neato. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Actually, no, I'm going to save those strengthens because for now it doesn't seem like they've got any healing options. So there's the hidden door, and now we continue on from there. This fight sucked in vanilla because they kept petrifying. Now, judging by everything, it doesn't seem like we're having that problem yet, and I'm not really sure why, to be honest. But first order of business, I need to go and smackify those ghosts off a ledge. Exclamation mark Sculptopus, huh? Oh man, look, that worked so well. It's a command that's totally there and been there the whole time. Yep. Yep. Man. That foresight, though. Of course they got an SFW. Everyone needs to look at sexy potatoes. Oh, no. Don't click that button. It's not what I thought it was. It's actually exactly what you think it is. It's funny because there was a debate for the longest time whether to even allow that section to be there, and then they ended up just doing it because even if it's basically just a thing that every Discord needs to have for some reason. Who knows why, but apparently it makes viewer counts go up because apparently they can't find porn anywhere else. Yeah, you know exactly what it is, I'm fairly certain. Controller? Ah, dang it. Alright, so I don't think we're going to bother going for the other stuff here unless there's a convenient ledge smack or something. I think what we're going to do, not bother with exorcisms, I'm going to go fight through the rest of this stuff. Because I really don't want to go make my way back here. Balls tired of memes and porn channels? Yep. Yep. And yet, at the same time, good luck avoiding it. But for what it's worth, it tends to make Discords grow. So, that's kind of why they do it. What's funny is that, like, it's just the thought of it being there, I guess? Because I was watching in on one of the, I'm technically one of the moderators for it, so I was watching in on one of the, please miss, ah, crap. Got cursed. But on one of their meetings there, and there was just a discussion on whether or not to add that thing, and then later on a discussion on whether to remove it. And apparently, it's just the view numbers aren't terribly high. It just made people start joining. So I guess they've never heard of the internet before. I really don't know. Okay, Sencha. Okay, let me see if I got it. And the only one we technically have to beat here is Zadoba, but I'm seeing if these other guys will maybe drop some cards. Oh yeah, it's my turn, isn't it? Well, smackify that guy, and then do a whole lot of nothing for a little while. Turn on Vigorous, and then we just wait. Thankfully, after this we get some more varied music, at least. Alright, and back again. Seems like not much progress has been made. So let me speed this up again, because they're just going to do the same thing. I'm assuming I got hit by a finisher is why health was so low here. Seems like the archers are starting to get through, those are starting to get through. What I need to do is probably heal, then take a turn to set up a warp, and then go for Zadoba. But yeah, this is basically how it was going, oh, crap. This is basically how it was going in vanilla, too. Where it's just getting through the first part was easy enough, but then getting to Zadoba, it always seemed like it would be easy, and then all the archers started coming in. So, what we need is to not get stunned. See, I don't want to switch classes necessarily until I know that I can make it to the transcription book. Alright, what else do I want to do here? Probably going one-handed spear wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't necessarily need the other stuff as much. And especially given how everything's working here, I'll probably get a lot more mileage out of that spear than anything else. Alright. Let's do this thing. So just ask me and I might start streaming. We can arrange what time is best at the... this one. Okay, and then, yeah, I'll definitely message you on there as well. Because, see, Vale was around to help me with my first one, in terms of just suggesting cool stuff to try and do. Also, that's hilarious. He's just changing his look there. This is why you don't mess with the universe. Might suddenly glitch out repeatedly. Ooh, what is this? Thank you there, Norfeo. Appreciate the follow. Alright, so, options. Kind of wondering if maybe the better idea would be to go in here, fight the orcs, and then just sort of back out of there, and then fight our way out of fight our way back to the doorway. That's not necessarily the worst idea in the world. I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna stay right within their attack range here. So I think we'll stay right here. Pop on to strengthen. Now we should be able to counter all of them. They don't seem to have any healing options whatsoever. We'll speed it up there. We don't have to worry about the finishers just yet. And we're still doing about equivalent damage. Again, sorry about the music being fast-forwarded. I tried the method that was suggested a little while ago in terms of how to get the music turned off for the purposes of this thing. It didn't quite work, so that'll be something to try later. Apparently I just have to remove the files from the music files from the game, and then just kind of play music in the background, is the idea. So yeah, it would be a little bit annoying, but oh well. Just lower? I mean, it is lower. Alright, so we can probably just Giga Tempest here. Or just stab this guy, to be honest. Take the volume down. I'll just put it back down to normal. There we go. How high is the volume, out of curiosity? Because usually, like, for the purposes of comparison here, my volume is usually set at 24. Currently it's set at 20. When I started the stream it was set at 40. But then it's really unclear as far as what works when, where. Also, I mean, some commands take a while to work. I apologize, I actually apparently didn't click for that thing to go yet. See, there's bridges. But yeah, most I was speeding up because this fight, well, it takes a few rounds to really get going here. Once they start spamming all their finishers, then we're in Trouble City here. Oh man, that was a... what the hell was that move, sir? Controller? Thank you. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll go with that plan. Because I can take this guy out here, claim his loot. probably next round I can get down to that ghost to exercise him. If not, at least his MP's gone. We're gonna speed it up a little bit more. Rude. At least I'm more likely to be able to get to that ghost now. Alright. Say this is one of those cases where the White Knight would be amazing. Because I could do a double exorcism. Well, I only have one, and I'd rather see this guy gone. You nap time? Ogre well, leaving Evan in charge of the traveling out. Okay. Well, you nap well. Hope you have good dreams and all that. But yeah. Feel all rested and everything. Looking forward to reading whatever comes out whenever you come back. Oh yeah, and we'll be doing more mana stuff next week, I'm hoping. This whole controller issue definitely didn't speed that up any. But yeah, I'm thinking probably next week will be a bit more likely, because this week has been a complete crap show. To the point that I've, yeah, ran short on time many times. I was planning to do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow became a complete fustercluck, so yeah. And so I think we'll see you away with a Charybdis joke here. Waiting on that Charybdis joke. Leaving everybody on the ground like they get hit by a Charybdis? There we go. That works. Har har har. Of all the oddly specific end jokes. What do you guys laugh about? Oh, the pronunciation of Charybdis for like 2 hours? Why do you do that? I don't know. We have to ask the doctors. Okay, if we go over to here... Decent chance of being able to make it out of that situation. I think that skeleton might have just ruined it, actually, because I can't teleport past him. Because rudeness. There we go. Now here's hoping that our warp doesn't run out. Because I only have one more, and I would really like to use that to be able to get to the boss. I would really like my controller to stop disconnecting. Yeah, this thing is toast. Alright, so I gotta get rid of leaden. So are my band-aids. Yeah, if you ever wondered why your teleport was only limited to one tile, it's probably because of leaden. I think I'm best bet here. Let's see. I'd be 64, except it's ending, except it's Charybdis. Huh? But there's so many endings. Which one is it? Evil magic, like Baby Rashidi, but you can't Charybdis. Bye. Thank you for your contribution. I love laughing at oddly specific crap. Alright. Just do Mending Seed here, and then we'll hopefully have a warp set up for next round. Wanted to take the safety heal here because we got hit by stun. Waiting for that guy to be gone. Now, whatever's in that bag, we're gonna have to leave behind. There we go. First hit on Zadoba. Can never hear Zadoba without thinking Kadoba. And now I really want a burrito bowl. See, did you see Hellhound's latest tweet about the demo trailer of AC1 showing the Black AC using the AR-1000 using needle shots and the grenade launcher using the chain gun texture? Wouldn't even be surprised. That seems exactly like what they love to do every single time. Because I swear, there's absolutely zero communication between whoever makes the intro trailers and whoever makes the actual game. It's like, I just assume that they probably give them a bunch of concept art to look at, and they're like, here you go, just make something from this. They're like, well, what's wrong? Well, I don't know. Here. There you go. What do you say? You're welcome. Stab. There we go. Walk over my corpse into the darkness. Bye, emo snake. Come on, controller. Come on. Alright, so with that out of the way, I can switch over to the White Knight, because we are out of exorcisms entirely. Switch out Vigorous here for Consecrate. Switch out Reflect for the Make Dead Go Away move. So Fervor. Field Alch 1 for still Field Alch 1. And Og Air for Og Fire, I assume. There we go. So what we got to get to is level 9. So we want 9 and we want 13. Those will be the ones that will give us transcription and other goodies, respectively. So these guys are all going to be much higher level now. Like, look at this crap. So this is just a 5v1. I mean, if we can just make it to 19, or to, what's it? To 9, that'll be a good start. I believe 9 and 13 are pretty close. So yeah, 13 is transcription. There's a snake on the top right stairs that drops it. The flight boots, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, because usually I don't end up getting them. For the vanilla run, I just ended up using the warp boots. I can't actually remember why. I think the stats were better on them or something. I've been playing Old Division lately, and the number of enemies is low compared to the PSP version. Also, being able to exercise at will is beautiful. Very true, very true. Funnily enough, I was playing that yesterday. I was playing that last night, still kind of stuck in the early game on that one. But it's a nice one. Like the, I just like that that you can have a bigger variety of stuff without it feeling like certain classes are broken. Like, I feel that's always Matsuno's issue. He just always gets way too excited over some certain units, and then suddenly everything else starts to suck because he's got to make his favorites stick out, you know? The only downside to this setup that I'm using, it's a little bit of an issue when I need to exercise anything. We're just going to go ahead and ruinate this guy. Probably could have gotten away with just a stab now that I think about it. But he dropped a Wheel of Fortune, so that's avoidance, and that's basically defense against everything, so good. Yeah, how far are you on Old Division these days? Like, I will admit, most of my testing so far has been in Chapter 1. Like, I keep starting it, then getting into that whole circle of, like, I want to get everybody grinded up to the same level, and then finally get through one fight, and then it's like, oh man, everybody's at different levels again. I gotta go to get everybody obsessively at the same level again. It always takes me forever to get through through that version. I don't know why, just really OCD about that. I'm gonna think of it. Never did take a look at the reworked rail bows. Is that a rail bow? No, it isn't. Right? Yeah, it's just a regular one. Let's see, rhyme. That's a rhyme for the first one. Not grinding at all. Yeah, my first run through that, or first run through Old Division, I was trying to do the whole no grind ever thing, but then just kind of forgot. And then wound up accidentally grinding, and then I was like, whatever, we're just gonna stick to like one grind per chapter or something. But then I started getting to that point of needing to have all my units matching, and The rest was a normal run. Although, thankfully, because it was Rakes balancing it, it's really not that much of a complete and utter game breaker. Oh no, come on, controller. You can do it. If I completely don't move my hands, it kind of sort of works. Take a safety heal just in case I stun flub this. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering about cursed weapons and that kind of thing, I think I am going to pick one up. Like, I was thinking probably one of the one-handed swords. Because heavy spears, I probably won't be using a cursed version of, just the normal ones are better. Yep. Let's re-up Consecrate Edge. And get going. Running a Golem, and it's actually useful. Yeah, the whole poison move that they have is actually surprisingly good. At least the one that I have has some kind of poison move on it. Been relying on that a good bit. Low level warriors do okay. Low level Amazons get one shot because their VT is not up to snuff. Yeah, might be something to ask him to shift a little bit. But I think it's only at the early levels, right? Because I recall them being pretty useful later. Also, there's something a little bit hilarious about a laser shooting from the sky. Like, no, the zombie's dead. It shoots him down. Like, no, I wasn't dead. And then they're actually deleted. Tremendous shot. Is this gonna do 90? That's gonna do 40. Okay, we're good. Dead. What? What? How did you dodge that? Right, stunned is gone. If we re-up Consecrate, this should be 100% hit. There we go. That's 4 out of the way, and now we should just need to branch a little bit. And we should get our stuff here now. Okay. I really hope we don't have to go through any of these ones. I absolutely abhor that map. Like, I love that the Palace of the Dead has different stuff going on, but holy crap, man. Some of those maps are just... Oh, you're better off getting kicked in the junk, I swear. Okay. Well, let me double check here, make sure there isn't anything I'm missing. Spells of the Dead. Actually, wait, Transcriptions is not floor 13, it's floor 23. We should have a store before then. I mean, we might be able to pull it off. See, they should get more agility, but it's a pain early on. If I did some training, it would balance out. Also true. Alright, we're gonna stick to this... Actually, no, you know what? Warp is useful in a lot of cases. It's not in this case. It's Nibby! I'm seeking draconic magic, which is funny because people way above seem to already know the secrets of this stuff. I think that's one of the things that bugged me about vanilla. When you'd see like endgame warlocks and stuff like that, they're like coming in with the draconic stuff and everything. It's like, dude, what? You're telling me every one of your grunts went into the Palace of the Dead? Really? And this is about the closest it ever gets to that scene that they used for FF14. Except even still, like the scene that they use shows Denim on basically where Nibith is standing, with Nibith kind of off to where that statue on the right is standing, for some reason. I don't know if it's supposed to be implied like they beat the fight and he was way back in the back there or something. But, yeah, it's just funky. I don't know. Anyway, we got a massive level advantage for this one then, since it's a story fight, so we'll go ahead and exercise everything, I thinks. Methinks exorcism is good times, yes. I don't know if Fervor has unlimited range, but we'll give it a shot here. Chug a Chinsing. See by using Fervor on that ghost. Give me my turn, please. Mostly just want to get some free stats out of this. Alright, well, this works out pretty well. Yes, so we can Fervor that guy. Then Stabify that guy. Man, Fervor is so good. The Japanese V-streamer still playing on the Armored Core franchise, one after the other, now on 3. So they're just gonna go through the entire series then? Don't suppose PS3 emulations come to the point where Verdict Day can actually be run stably on a midline computer yet? Hopefully it eventually happens. Because, truth be told, if Verdict Day was playable, I would be interested in running that one. A little bit anyway, just to kind of show off the hardcore modes and stuff like that. Feels bad, man. For Answer on PS3 you didn't start. Yeah, For Answer is pretty awesome. I mean, that's a given. And actually, I've seen that it's somewhat runnable. Let me see if there's any updates on PS3 emulation. And yeah, actually, if he's gonna be throwing out that whole Waken Undead thing, I think we're just gonna go ahead and blitz through this then. See, 364 Answer was playable, followed the guest streaming it. Come to think of it, yeah, that's probably the better way to go, isn't it? Let's see here. Yes, it looks like somebody was asking on some forum here. I mean, I know it's been in development for a couple of years at least, so you'd think at least something would come out of that. You did? Good job! How's it going, Mr. Dudes? That moment when the boss is actually killing itself, trying to save somebody. Trying to save a zombie of all things. Whoa-oh. I think we're about to have a fight here. Hang on one moment. Okay, and back. Let's see. We tried to make your son play through the AC games this one day. Tried to make my sis play some of the games, but she got tired and scared because they're old and too hard. I basically have a ton of old, like, emulation devices and whatever else. I was kind of figuring, you know what? If they want to try them, you know, it's there. It's an option. So, so we'll see. You know, it's whatever they decide to do. I'm not gonna really force them to do anything. Given what I've seen about them already, I would actually assume that my daughter might be more into that kind of stuff, because it's funny because my son keeps acting like my wife, and my daughter keeps acting like me in a lot of cases. And it's like, she's the one, it's funny between the two of them, like, she's the one always playing with trucks, and he's the one always getting the stuffed animals. So, it's just funny. It's kind of adorable. Alright, let's see if we can finish off this guy. There's going to be some unique drops here. I don't necessarily want to go for all of them here, but as long as I leave one tile apart, we should be okay. That last one, Tainted Love there, I think that was Bewitch. Yeah, we might go Necromancy at some point. I can't see too many uses for it, but it does have some unique things that can be cheesed later on. Like specifically, some of the highest caster damage you can do in the game comes from Necromancy. Specifically, the one that's basically damage split. So that's all right. I don't know if it's necessarily something I want to go for. Well, we'll see. I just love this roll of theirs, though, where they're just completely wrecking undead like nobody's business. The White Knight here. Like, their whole speed thing doesn't even matter with how OP they are versus undead. It's like, no, come back, dragon. He used a revive on his Dragonite. Dang it. Ah. Freaking cheating AI. You can't use revives. You can't use full restores. Dude, you just had a turn. Excuse me. You can't just double animate on dead. What's that? And I think we'll just go all the way. Go fervorize this one. Let's see. And I saw my sis playing some troll puzzle levels on her dad's phone. Oh yeah? Yeah? Bananas? Yeah. Does brother have a banana? Sounds wrong to put it that way, but no, I mean a food banana, don't... Whatever, anyway. You want a banana? What do you say? Yes, ma'am. Alright, one sec. Yeah, there's the interesting part about the Nibith fight. His backup team is stronger than his main team. Came in here with a bunch of friggin' wuss units, now he's just friggin' rocking an actual team here. But on the plus side, I can probably just run up and one-shot him at any point. Like, I just have to get vaguely close and I can throw a Charybdis in his direction and we're done here. Delirium Haze! I think it was, what was it? I think it was, was it Avantasia? I don't know, it's one of these power metal bands that had some song called Delirium Haze. No, it was, God, the one with the zombie. That's basically all of them. What's it called? Was it Twilight Lightning? It might be Twilight Lightning that I'm thinking of. They have the Cylon mentality? I suppose so. Come on, controller. Boo. Alright, we'll fervorize this one. I believe the ones that that come in the second team are more likely to drop stuff like that. With exception to the ones in the Blackmore and final Nibith fights. Which, spoilers, this isn't the last fight with Nibith. He turns into a birdie and he flaps away real birdie-like. Thank you for taking your worst possible odds because you want to steal that card from me. You douchey AI. Glad you got that dex bonus you can't use. Alright. Crap. Let it never be said that my cat is not a douchebag. He tried to jump on my desk for some bizarre reason, and long story short, ended up smacking my my coffee cup, which thankfully was empty, which ended up smacking my phone, which ended up smacking my controller out of my hands, which then got caught on the cord of my headphones, which then sent them flying like into unfortunate locations. So yeah. Wait, no, he's the one glitching out of bounds. Possibly. Also, Giga Tempest! Also, I can't push it because the button's not on. Also, the puppy wants more out time, I suppose. But you just had out time, puppets. So yeah, he dies, but he doesn't die, basically. That's the main takeaway here. This isn't even my final form moment. Come on, controller. Mr. Man, what the hell did you do to my controller yesterday? Also, this scene does not work in this game at all. At least, okay, in the mod, it does. In the vanilla game, this makes no sense, because they can't do this. Because the Ring of the Dead only works in one part of the Palace of the Dead, and this ain't it. But, oh well. Much more fitting form for one so intimate with death. Knew you'd leave. I mean, yeah, you can't technically turn into a lich. That doesn't mean you can't order people to turn into liches for you, which I guess is arguably the better thing to do there. Cat, they love to destroy oi oi. That they do. They are some of the douchiest pets you could ever have. Alright, so we got level 6 here and level 8 there. So that means our fastest way to that ring is going to be through this piece of crap right here. Yeah, there really ain't too much that we need from the rest of this. If we go to 10, that gives us thrown weapons. I don't really think we want that. So far, I've tried incorporating sidearms several times. It's not a difficult floor to get to. Like, if it's convenient, I'll grab it. Actually, I think 10's one of the fork floors, so yeah, actually, no, I might have to grab it. But I wouldn't imagine it's too much of a thing. Man, I really don't like these floors. It's just so many units in one place. Less so for the, you know, it's a huge amounts of units, so it's a challenge thing, and more so it takes so long to clear. The thing is, on many of these, they're a bit more merciful, so they give you the blue guys, or they give you whatever else, you know, like more actually difficult units. But then they'll, you know, they'll come in with, is that gonna be enough TP? No, not quite. So they give you actually more difficult units to fight, but they don't need to be exercised. And then you got ones like this, where it's just 50 trillion exorcisms in a row. And it's like, oh man, I don't want to do that. It takes so long. But here we are, doing this thing. Once we get them throwing out all their moves every turn, it's going to be a bit more of a challenge, but yeah, this gets tedious real fast. Also, problem of a spear build here, and probably why I'm going to end up having to go to two-handers, is because when it comes to the spear, its main gigantic damage move means that Fervor is unavailable at that turn. And we kind of need our tank setup to be able to survive this. Go for that guy, and we're actually going to back up here, because if you back up all the way to the back, their whole team won't aggro. Some of them will just decide to stick behind, like those guys right there. Some of them will just take ages to show up, so the longer you can wait on those, the better. Since in a lot of cases we're going to have to be relying on parry to be able to get away from the dragons. I don't know why they have such high agility. What's that about? I mean, I know I've got a full tank setup, but still. Would have expected some failure rate out of them. Now, one quick thing to throw out, just kind of out of curiosity here. When it comes to the whole all bosses part of this challenge, I'm okay with doing all the Heaven Generals and everything. Would anyone complain if I just cheated in the forks, though? Because I'll be honest, I really don't feel like grinding for all the necessary materials to pick up all the forks. For those unaware of how this one works, basically you need fork items in order to have the Heaven Generals spawn on certain maps. And in order to get those, you need to get multiple crafting materials, which only drop on certain enemies from Palace of the Dead, and it's just a massive pain in the butt to go get them. It takes ages. Parry. Come on, roll a parry one of these times. What are you doing? I think I'm going to have to play it risky. Probably take out that dragon. Do the whole stab and fervor, and then hope that we can survive another round here. And then once that second dragon's down, hopefully outspeed the thing, using the new speed we just got. That might have just made it impossible, but we'll see. So just looking at an Amazon PS4 version of Dragon Quest XI, costs much more than the PC version and will come tomorrow. I'm tempted to get it as a physical copy. Price is seriously amazing. Oh wait, costs much less than the PC version. I don't know why I said more. Did I say more? I think I said more. I don't know. But yeah, that's unusual. Why did that happen? Physical copies are never less. Yeah, the only way that this particular one can work here is if I back up. Actually, I'm starting to think tank setup and sidearms here. But now I need a White Knight, so I can only use stuff that the White Knight can use. You said more? Okay, my bad. Discount it's 36, not bad. On a bit of a semi-related note, like, I guess just in terms of console RPGs and whatever. God, this guy with his frickin' magma arms, man! He's deleting all gains that I'm getting. And if that one dragon ended up moving far away, so I can't actually reach him, and then he's just going to finish me off here. Boo! Alright, whatever. Time to rethink our approach here. Part of the problem is we got all our ghosts spawned at the very front. Because what we need is to be able to isolate the ghosts, and I think what I need is a phalanx here. Yeah, if I set up a line of phalanxes, make it more difficult for them to get through, set up a little choke point type of situation, that might be the way to go. Or, since technically I just need 9, could just go this way. Might be the better way. Oh yeah, so I was saying about, what's it? Console RPGs and things. You ever played, god dang it, what's it called? 3D Dot Game Heroes? And I say it's relevant because it's like, thinking of Dragon Quest and thinking of Armored Core. It's an interesting, happy medium. Yeah, this map in particular, I recall costing me 5 of the full heals in the base game. But then again, in the base game you couldn't build a tank setup, so yeah. Cost 60 more, it's discounted 36, Armored Core 11. What? I mean, they gotta make 6 before they make 11. Wonder what 12 is gonna be like? I mean, currently a pipe dream. But I suppose we can dream. They reused assets for 8 and 9, and I'm worried about the new one. Well, I mean, what's wrong with reused assets? Personally, I don't see the issue. I actually kind of love reused assets. Like that. Okay, something that you might notice. Oh, what's up, Mr. Dude? Oh, that's guinea pig food. You don't need that. That's for the mini porks. Here, hold on. Let me get this kiddo a snack before he tries to eat the guinea pig food. Alright, so, reused assets, right? Like, all of 3rd gen AC and all that. They tried to tell me that was bad. The entire thing was reusing assets and then just improving on them the whole time. And it felt amazing for it! Ah, crap. I was really hoping that would crit. Is that an 8 jump? Yes, that is an 8 jump. Actually, I wonder if those are specifically 8 jumps for that reason. That there's certain times when you would be able to get away using a warp ring, but possibly not other things. So I think what I want to do is probably finish off... No. Right, if they could stop landing 36%, I would greatly appreciate it. It's not like it's much damage, but it's gonna add up. But yeah, I'd like to finish off that griffin, probably take its loot, and then try to warp up to the top there. Please take the counter. Perfect, okay. That's exactly what I needed. Now give me my turn and let me warp up there. Alright, so now we can warp. Alright, so now that we know that we can do that, we're going to go over here. These are melee guys, right? And we got a dagger. Dagger, okay. So they can attack there, they can attack there, can, okay. If we move here, nobody... is that dragon running rampart? No, okay. So we can take this card, and then we can just sit here a turn, throw out some counters, then warp up there and take a heal turn. See, I have so many games I need to think about what to play. Try some Black Queen, man. Got any more of that Black Queen? Stuff's good. Stuff's good. You try one, and then you end up getting hooked on the entire series, and then you wind up like it's all a gateway drug into Vagrant Story. Whoa, whoa, what's wrong? What's wrong, Mr. Dude? You got your snacks right there. You just gotta go get them. Oh yeah? You think so? I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Dude. Oh no, but it's right there. You just gotta go grab it. Burned out playing RPGs? But there's a difference. Okay, and back, and yeah, this lady here with her sludge mine needs to go. So I'm hoping somebody gets themselves countered real good so that I have enough points to just run up and finish them off. Come on, counter crit. Not quite. Not quite. That would have been very nice. And I'm not sure if we can finish them off now. Let's see, stuck on DQ3, it's so dang hard, need to look where to go, and this part of the map looking like Africa. These crabs have max defense, and Cannabux hit me once for 90, and one-shots every member of the team. The mage sucks. Sounds like a rough time. But see, it depends on the type of RPGs, though. Like, that's... I like to consider those just, like, straight grind RPGs, like, where you're basically going through and trying to use the right things at the right time, and all that some such, but it's generally kind of a straight line. Like, straight progression line kind of situation. Meanwhile, stuff like this, it's more about just what kind of cheese you can pull off. I consider most of what you find in, like, XCOM games and stuff like that to be RPGs in their own right. But yeah. I don't know. Guess depends. Also, I can't warp anymore. If I can heal, we might be able to make it out of this. Alright, now for the toxic breath crap, alright. Get it, charmed, neato. So I can't counter. Can't do any of that. See, that's the weird part about Curse. It's like, it lasts a while and all that, but it's just weird, because technically you had a counter turn-off button with stun for quite a while. Just kind of an odd one. And this is the problem with this fight, like, with many fights in the Palace of the Dead, actually. It's just, you need an option to get past all this stuff, and usually the Flight Ring is the best way to do it. So the Warp Ring works, but yeah, dude, it's... it gets rough. See, DQ3 becomes really hard to level up. I'm 14, teams are on 13, killing all the monsters after half an hour, get one of them to level up. That doesn't sound like fun anymore. Like, I feel like the best grinds are the ones where just interesting stuff regularly comes up all the time. Alright, we're gonna take a different approach this time. Let's see. Instead of Aug Fire, let's see if we can have Phalanx on here. This guy can use Phalanx, right? Yeah, he can use Phalanx. We need to drop two things. I'd probably drop Consecrate Edge for the other one. So I think we'll probably give that a second. If this doesn't work this next time, I'm gonna try it another way, but... There we go, let's do this. Actually, it's funny because there was a, growing up, I didn't have Dragon Quest, or Dragon Warrior or any of those, but I did have a parody of them, called Warrior Dragon. It was basically just... It was basically just a Dragon Warrior game, except it was just the dragon fighting people instead. Pretty good music, though. Actually, on several occasions I've thought about... I've tried digging through the files of that game to try to extract the last boss theme of that one, because I remember it being amazing, and I remember recording it on this little MP3 thing that I had at the time, with some obnoxiously low quality, but... Oh well. Oh, look at that! 25% is actually missing? Man, must have done something right. So he takes more tactics than it looks? Yeah. I mean, it's still got choices, I just mean in terms of... You don't have as many, like, okay, I can't go here, so let's go ahead and reroute through here type situations. As far as I've seen, anyway. I will admit I'm not super familiar with the series entirely, but from what I've seen, that seems to be the case. Alright, so we're blocked immediately on that side, but we are getting bonuses there. Yeah, if we can just break through these skeletons, we should be alright. I'm thinking the best way to do that's probably going to be, if we keep that Hydra right there, take a warp this next round, phase through that statue. Might be the way to go. It's a very open world? Okay. Then I am wrong. I'll admit, like I said, I've tried the one on the GBA, I haven't tried the series beyond that. It's just what I've heard so far. Alright, I can't actually take a warp here, right? Alright. So I'm assuming this guy will move, but then this skeleton might take his place. Yeah, that one moves first, then that one, so that's likely. Basically, if that one's down, skeleton moves after it, so we should be fine taking this guy out. And what I'm thinking is, dragon attacks, it runs around the corner. I didn't want to attack him because I didn't want him to have more points. So he runs around to our right. We then we then counter him, then hopefully finish him off, then step forward and do a fervor on that skeleton, then dash into the corner. So we'll see if that works out. If not, we'll probably reroute to the other side. Alright. Yeah, it's looking more and more like we'll have to reroute here. It's that one right there with a frickin' sludge bind. God dang it. Okay, yeah, we gotta take that fervor one way or another. Just to counter that sludge bind. Except now we can't because... Oh, for God's sake, man. Now you're just being vindictive, game. Yeah, just get a Scarlet Fury, though. I think that's what that thing's called. Let's see, I guess DQ8 is like what you think. Upgrades happen a lot with without a number of grind. Story goes with a good flow without spreading around the globe. Pretty linear at the same time. Split your choice. Sounds about right. Man. Alright, so even though this one's probably a wash, what we're going to do is try to go to this corner. I still want to take that corner on the bottom right, but I can't at the moment. I have too many debuffs, because that frickin' snake hit me with Sludge Mind. So I just need a position that I can sit here and tank from. I'll speed it up a little bit, sorry for the headache. So I just gotta sit here, recover until we can do stuff safely again. Ugh. Never mind. Thank you, one snake with one debuff. Still think this is possible, though. It just depends on who spawns on the right, and that's why I thought that it would work better this time. I could do the Warp Ring. Might not be a bad option. Let's see, if I take that corner, now we're in a position where most of their missile stuff that hits real hard can't actually hit. They only have one tile that they can target, or basically the AI is unable to target the same tiles you can't, so they can't use this tile to target through the wall, meaning the only way they could hit with Crimson Note and things like that is from here, so they'd have to hit two of their own guys to pull that off. So we're just going to ignore attacking, just take counters for the moment. And because of the direction we're facing, hopefully the skeleton will move. CDK3 was Hold on, sorry, I'm just watching it real quick. Trying to get him bind off on us. God dang it with the stupid slow. Okay. CD Cruise is still early in the time of RPG, so take some grind. And take a Consecrate Edge here. We just gotta wait for this Hydra to move, basically. Let's see, I think those would be first game 6 before 7 and 8. A lot of people loved 5. I wonder if it wasn't for the gameplay. What was different about 5's gameplay? Alright, now we're stopped and slowed. Screw this snake in particular. Alright. Whoa, what are we doing, Mr. Dude? What's wrong? Let's try going for one-handers real quick. Actually, no, that'll be a massive downgrade. One moment, please. Okay, so they learned from that, and now they made sure it's more pleasurable and fun to play. Well, everybody likes things being more pleasurable. Let's see. Well, DQ5 had the same gameplay as the others, but with the ad being the first game where you can marry and have a child, nothing more explicit than pregnancy. Well, I mean, how'd they get there? Somebody would call at this exact moment. Just one moment, please. Random phone call. Because they've really been trying to reach me about that warranty for that car that I don't have. That's a good sign. Because that's a pretty good prerequisite. But yeah, so most of the Palace of the Dead maps have something like this, where there's some areas that you can potentially cheese under the right circumstances. So like right here, the only reason that this is currently working is because they basically can't target most of the tiles. There's only 2 tiles that can actually attack me. Ranged attacks can attack from some locations here. Some like Sludge Bind, well, they're happy targeting those guys. Some of the big damage moves they usually won't bother using. But yeah, generally speaking, this just mitigates a lot of their potential targeting stuff. So keep getting phone calls of people wanting to get a hotel. Yeah, man, it gets more and more annoying as far as the spam calls go every day, I swear. Like, there's this one that So, by the way, a little trick for those that don't know it. If you ever want a particular company to blacklist you, just basically make a little click noise and just tell them, okay, the recording's on for the FTC. Would you please state your name for the record? You know, that kind of crap. And most of the time, the person will panic and just put you into a... Well, they'll basically just blacklist you. But, like, I have this one annoying one that's been calling for a year under different phone numbers and different companies doing it. It's like, oh, this is friggin' Rashid or whatever from the IRS, and you totally gotta call right now because we're about to go arrest you. And, like, A, that's not what the IRS does. B, no, you're not. C, like, stop trying to set up payment arrangements for, you know, something that doesn't exist. Like, it's... Like I was telling the guy yesterday, like, no, what you're doing is clearly illegal. You know, I have your number here. I have you on record here. You know, would you like to state anything for the FTC before I go and file my report? And the guy just panicked and hung up. But it's frustrating because people are obviously falling for that crap. They wouldn't be doing that all the time if they didn't. And early on, I would have assumed, like, okay, you know, maybe they're targeting people that specifically have debts of a particular kind, you know, maybe there's some thought behind it. But in this case, like, not at all. Like, it's not like we're behind on taxes, it's not like we're going and, you know, pissing off the IRS or whatever else. Like, this is legit just random phishing, and, yeah. It sucks. It really sucks. Can I have my turn yet? Frickin' slow, man. Don't worry, Perry. I don't need you to do anything. That's fine. Alright, just start asking about their family. That gets them scared quick. Possibly so. My god, screw that snake. Holy crap, screw that snake. I'm so sick of dying to freaking Sludge Bind. Tell them you have their babies? What the hell, man? Make a child scream in the background? Well, that approach got weird fast. Alright, well, I think we need to put on Slow Ward then. Alright. Hogfire we don't need for this. We're close to ranking it up, but we don't need it for this. Alright, so we need Slow Ward for sure. That crap's getting annoying. Field Elk we need. Fervor we need. Consecrate Edge we mostly need. Is there anything that would be more useful here? This Phalanx would be good, but that takes 2 skill slots to use. Rampart might actually help a lot, because it would slow down their entry. Would prevent them from leaving. That's actually the benefit of Rampart 3, by the way. That once you get up to 3, they can't run away from you anymore. At least not effectively. Usually they can only move one tile. Well, let's see if there's any new stuff I can learn. Time of need, advances speed, and restores health by the amount of TP spent. Not useful right now, but could be later. Is there anyone else that can use this? No, it's White Knight only. Absorb MP I'll never use. Treasure Hunt I'll probably never use. TP4 will be amazing once we get there. I guess I can put on Sanctuary. Just basically prevent zombies from getting close at all. Extends 2 tiles. So basically this would shut off dragons for the most part. Yeah, we can use Sanctuary. Let's try that. So I feel like we don't really need max TP for this one. So if instead we put on Sanctuary, we can possibly create a situation where they just can't get close at all. So we warp over to that tile, have Sanctuary on, the dragons can't use their breath attacks, for the most part anyway. I think, yeah, I think their big breath attacks only have a 2-tile range. So for the most part they'd be forced to stay away. So this would mean we can get rid of all the non-zombie units first. Funnily enough, Bloodbath was a lot scarier in vanilla. Just because they would kind of ambush you with it. One share that equip made when I was playing Dark Souls 3 on my PS4. Okay. It was nonsense. Come on, controller. There we go. Nope, nope, come on, try it again. There we go. That's a good controller. Alright, so we shouldn't be slowable this time, so we shouldn't get completely overwhelmed. Honestly, slow word by itself might have been enough, but these guys, yeah, they can't even get close. So that means we get rid of the Hydra early, so we deal with our turn-losing nonsense. We deal with the Griffin early, that's not a big threat right now. Should be able to deal with the Rogues, should be able to deal with everybody, with the casters. Actually, we might not even need to take the corner, because if they can't attack, they can't attack. We'd have to get within 2 tiles for them to be able to do their move. They'd be stuck to throwing rocks and things like that. Griffon. Exactly. But I want to deal with this Griffin first. So we'll start off with that. So put on Consecrate. Probably put on a dodge item if I've got one. Actually, we'll put on a sidestep here. Just because throwing rocks. Oh man. Gave the kiddo a muffin. He's just there, just giggling, devouring that thing. Oh yeah? He's just like cheesing over there with his muffin. It's hilarious. So which the statues could become unpetrified. I had an interesting game idea, blending the concept with walking into the breach type system. Like what, you have previous runs that are lost and they just turn into a statue there, and then you can bring back your old characters. And then you basically go back through all the areas that you died, and you come back and you just have this A-team of every version of every game that you've ever lost. That'd be amazing. If that's what you mean. It's like kind of mixing some Chrono Trigger in there. You're just going back through the past, collecting all your old selves, except you'd have to have an Iron Man mode for this. I'd be completely on board for that. Like, this game, in both versions, playing on an Iron Man rule set is... it's really interesting. It gets really tense really fast. Thank you, absolutely 0 damage Bloodbath. I think Bloodbath is one of those ones that scales really high, but has really crappy armor penetration. Because we've got almost the highest armor you can get. Because aside from elemental armors, aside from the Ogre set, it's like I think the only way to get better armor than this would be to get Ogre Shield, Ogre Helm, Ogre Plate. And actually that very well might be the final build for this character. It would probably be the Ignis, or whatever the one-handed Fire Spear is, combined with the Ogre set, and then combined with a Fire Crest. I'd figure that would probably be the strongest thing we can get, but could be wrong on that. Alright, let's see what we get. Give me your loot, please. I'm hoping this gremlin will attack. Oh, you know what I need to remember to do? And please remind me if I forget, but I can actually make a lot of mending seeds for cheaper than actually buying them. And that actually would be a good way to move forward, I think. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Kinda wish you could counter finishers, but it won't. Death is death, but petrification can be undone. See, it's funny because they kind of went a few different directions with that in this series. Like, in March of the Black Queen, it's basically a temporary debuff that lasts about... it basically lasts until their next encounter. In Night of Lotus, it just basically rendered you, stuck for a few turns. In this one, it just leaves you stuck for a few turns. In OB64, it was permanent. As in, somebody got petrified. If you didn't unpetrify them by the end of the battle as a whole, they just died. And then basically the cost of petrification was about half that of bringing them back from the dead. But yeah, if they stayed petrified to the end of a battle, they were just dead at that point. Which I think is what they were trying to reference here, because there's a lot of weirdly implemented references. So, for example, these statues, they're actually many of them are actually slightly different versions of the sprites from March of the Black Queen. So, for example, right here, this guy that's down with his shield and sword, he looks just like the fighter from that game, except he didn't have a cape. The spear guys look... Well, there weren't any spear guys, but they look a little bit like the fighters from... like the soldiers from OB64. The casters and the clerics look specifically like the ones from the PS1 version for some reason. But the clerics looked entirely different in the SNES version. So like the SNES one, they had an Ankh as their staff. In the come on with the stop. Let me move, please. Unfortunately, you can't have stop and stun ward at the same time without specific items. So I don't know how high the stop rolled, but I might get a turn. I might just never get a turn. It's one of the reasons it's so friggin' dangerous. But yeah, unfortunately the slow is more dangerous here. So finally wore off. Do I get a turn yet? Not for a while, and I'm probably just dead. Would need to block absolutely everything from this point on. And then we need to take about 3 turns for recovery. No, come on! Oh my god, screw this snake, really. If it's not stop, it's slow. The snake is such a douche. I might just have to accept that we're gonna get slowed. And then just cheese the hell out of that back corner. But yeah, so this SNES one, they had an Ankh, and the PS1 version, they had a Crozier, which is basically the same thing. It's just a cross at the end of a staff. They just went for a more Western approach with that one. Since they were redoing the graphics anyway, they figured they didn't want to accidentally offend soccer moms with having an Ankh in there. Because it doesn't have the Jeepus on there, so that whole era. Man. Yeah, I was gonna say, it would be amazing if we somehow managed to dodge all that still. That's fine. This is doable, though. I mean, you can definitely see that. Still, either way, we gotta take 2 fights. There's also the possibility of going the other route, too. Turn off Consecrate, turn on... Let's see. Get Stop Ward on there. We need Fervor, we got Phalanx, we'd have Sanctuary. In that case, Phalanx can actually become Palladium. Which basically would mean that we can make sure that none of the zombies approach at all. So we can keep all of them locked away, then slowly peck away at them. Although I think everything here is a zombie. Let's see. See, this is the point at which I wish it was possible to just end the fight by walking to the end of the map. From a logic perspective, I get why you can't do that, but... because, you know, you wouldn't want all that behind you, but be right back. One sec. Wait, what? Cranberries? What cranberries are we talking about now? Alright, so if we move down here and give this guy the old stabby stab, we should, with any luck, be able to lock down those ghosts over here, or we move down this direction and just go ahead and eat a fruit. That'll leave us with just one of them, but it should lock them down completely over there on the right, meaning we can slowly deal with these dragons and not have to deal with their crap whatsoever. So this means that if I'm understanding this right, they should have to cross the entire map to be able to reach us. Zombie, yay, what? Want David Ex Machina to be released on Steam already? Yeah, apparently it's getting a ton of upgrades too. I just saw an article earlier that apparently it was it's like apparently both visually and FPS wise. I think the article was high or something. It was trying to claim it was like 400 FPS. I'm like, that seems beyond anything slightly reasonable, but okay. Either way, I'm just excited to see it on there because that's the first Armored Core-like thing that we can actually get on PC with some reasonable stuff on there. So yeah, go figure, you know? And I guarantee you it will be the more popular release by far. Yeah, so those unfortunate bastards right there shouldn't be able to do anything past this point. So all we gotta do is poke away at these dragons. And we'll drop a second... Let's see. Right now they slowly get one tile that they can walk through. I don't think the rest can actually follow this first guy. So I think what we'll want to do is move it down here at some point. So we'll come down here, probably stand on one of these tiles, move one down here, get rid of this one, let the floodgates open on these two. And then we just slowly deal with the dragons one at a time, basically. We'll speed it up again, because this is going to take absolutely ages to do it this way, but hey. How on earth did he hit me with an aura there? Because technically speaking, all it prevents is them from stopping on those tiles, and oh my goodness. Alright, so I put 3 down so that we only have to deal with them one at a time. Unfortunately, if any of them roll low health, apparently those AoE 4s are going to hit just fine. That's okay, we'll figure it out. I think this can be cheesed, because again, all it does is prevent them from stopping in those tiles, so if there's any other way for them to get around, for example, if they were to be over here. So we're going to have to stop this over here too. So drop a Palladium there, prevent them from going through the wall. I mean, the ghosts are a lot more mobile. The casters have a lot more range. You can imagine how much stronger this ability would have been in vanilla. Yeah, that's the thing with BOTD. It's hard to tell what exactly will be useful when and how. Some fights you can get through without using any resources, like that one from earlier. Other times, you know, this. We're probably just going to be burning through stuff like crazy. I'm probably going to be burning through most of the seeds by the end of this one. We won't be able to reach a store until about floor 24, so I don't think that's likely. So we might have to abandon this after all is said and done. Oh, come on. Come on, controller. Do we have any ghosts over here? No. So this means that we are now effectively safe. We should have completely blocked off that area. We just got to fight this one dragon. Let's see, no one likes Robot Game. So you read a lot of crap while watching Vinesauce React, then Nintendo Direct, bunch of leeches. Wait, mecha games are allowed to run at 25 FPS. I mean, while not exactly, let's be honest, there are a lot of them that had problems in, like, the last... Well, I guess, to be fair, there weren't that many that came out. I mean, the Gundam ones I know were always seem to look really smooth, but the, like, for example, Verdict Day and DXM and stuff like that did have a decent amount of hitching, at least at first. Apparently they improved performance over time. Like when I was watching TBM's latest bits there, they did seem to fix a lot of that. So I'm assuming once it runs at once it starts going at once everything gets going, then we'll end up seeing a lot more good stuff out of it. See, the good thing about zombies here is they can't really heal without a support unit, which they don't have. Because the Necromancer and Lich are the only ones that can be support units for them. We could do that. I think we might as well take a double heal turn, though. Because he'll have to go melee. Actually, he can't go melee, right? Because he can't stop next to me. I probably should have moved right next to him so that he'd take a counter. Interesting. So I guess technically speaking, if I wanted to prevent him from doing anything else, we'll just move that right there. And now he can't get in range to do his Crimson Note. So you should be able to completely beat... No, there he goes. I was going to say he shouldn't be able to move at all. But there he goes. It's just fine. So I guess Crimson Note must have 4 range on it then? It's weird. I thought it was reduced to 2. Hang on, let's see. No, Crimson Note is 3 plus the 1 extra range. Oh well. Let's get in there. Stab it. Fervor it. Gonna go take a nap? Alright. Well, you go ahead and take a nap, sir. You, enjoy all that watching from afar there. Let's see, how can we get into this area safely? I'm thinking I teleport in, get to the back of these guys, drop a Palladium right in the middle, screw up all their movement. Might be the safest approach. Probably gonna heal up to full before doing that, though. Because we're gonna need to take a decent chunk of damage to be able to pull that off. That one ghost over there is ruining himself with poison. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the safer route might be through these guys. Now, let's drop another Palladium right over here. So I don't think they'll be able to stop that. I'm going to throw in a Resilience just for good measure. Shove down the sidestep. Oh well. Really? Just getting completely ruined with debuffs. Not even getting close. Alright, yeah, looking over the map here, it's looking super unlikely that we'll be able to get to transcription, but I can, at the very least, get to level 9 here. So we do got to go this way. And I'll be right back again. Alright, so I got a new plan here. That dragon just screwed up on total accident, and that guy just screwed up too, but it's okay, we'll readjust the setup if we have to. Basic idea is I'm just trying to run right. Leave him completely stuck. See what we can do with that. Yeah, and this controller issue's getting a little janky, so I think we're going to give this one more go here, and then probably going to call it for today, worst case scenario. Like, whether win or lose here. Alright. Drop another palladium right there. Take a heal. What I'm kind of hoping to do here is slowly force my way through to where the ghosts are, and then get everybody else locked up. So they can't melee, they can only use some far-away moves for the most part. This should keep a few units off to the left. I'm hoping to hopefully be able to get through there, block off the ones on the right. We'll see. It's not looking super amazing yet, because we got hit with slow 5 seconds into the fight, but hey. Right. So the left side is completely blocked off now. They can't possibly get through. Also, interestingly enough, yeah, interestingly enough, the heavy shield is actually working better than the ward in this case. Yeah, this one's probably a failure, but it's just because we got screwed. Thinking with an evasion setup we might do a little bit better. Probably not. This crap, though. These summons were doing 1. Now they're doing 50s. Anyway, I think that's the right approach to take, but I gotta get going for today. So we'll go ahead and call it there. So thank you guys for showing up, and yeah, next time we should be able to get to those dang flying shoes. See you next time. Bye.